Welcome to Tech Tuesday. My name is Abby Ritchie, and you can find me here every Tuesday interviewing people involved in the age tech space when it comes to senior living. I'm really excited to introduce my guest today, and before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and run our intro. Well, welcome, Ed, to the show today. I'm so excited to have you here. My special guest, Ed Baig, he is a contributing writer for the AARP, and he has written on tech for many years. And I will tell you guys this, when people ask me, Abby, where do you get your inspiration from? Who do you read? This gentleman today is someone I am constantly inspired by. So welcome to Tech Tuesday, Ed.
Nice to meet you, Abby. Thank you for that very nice introduction.
Well, there are certain people that I follow, and I'm confident that you do as well, and I would love to hear who inspires you. And then there are people that I just keep getting more information, more ideas from. And like I told you earlier, my clients love to cut and clip articles for me to read, and quite often it's one of your articles. So I am following up on you and checking in to see what's new. So Ed, tell us about your article, your contributing writing that you do for AARP, please.
Sure. Well, as you mentioned, I cover personal tech, and I have been doing it for quite a while. For 20 plus years, I was USA Today as their personal tech columnist, and among other things, that meant I was the guy who reviewed the iPhone. In fact, I was one of the 4 people who got to review the original iPhone before everybody else. So that was kind of cool. So I've worked for a lot of tech years. I've worked with Business Week and US Postal Report way back then when I was a mere child of Fortune magazine. And I've been contributing to AARP now for more than a year, writing about tech, consumer tech, but obviously aimed at the AARP audience, people 50 on up. Of course, that's a huge age range, but we can talk about that because I think there are people who have the stereotypical view of the older audience that they're not in tech or they're somehow less tech savvy. That's true for some people, but I think it's less true than people think.
I agree 100%. And I feel like we could probably have a whole show on that stereotyping of older adults. Now, I'm working with people in their 80s and 90s and 100s. And so, while someone else might be talking about a 60-year-old senior, I'm talking about a 90-year-old senior.
Sure.
And I have found that my clients are interested, they're engaged, they want to connect with family and friends. Definitely, COVID pushed a lot of people forward in ways they had never thought possible. But I wanted to ask you, so when it comes to technology, what type of devices do you find that work best for older adults?
Well, I'm going to start with the thing that most of us carry in our pocket, which is the smartphone.
All right, I got to see yours. Can you show me? What kind of phone are you using? You have a few. Okay.
Actually, it's charging. It's an iPhone 13 Pro Max.
Yeah.
But just to show you that I play, because of what I do, I'm also an Android guy. So I have an Android. This is see that? That's a Pixel, Pixel 6 Pro. So I play in all cameras. I'm Switzerland now. But my personal phone is an iPhone, and it has been since the original iPhone.
Yeah, so I know you mentioned that you were one of the first to review it, which I think is awesome and so cool. What were your first impressions?
Well, I went back, it's the 15th anniversary approaching, so I went back and looked at what I wrote at the time, and of course I revisited this through the year. I called it a prodigy. And what's interesting about it, meaning it had all this promise, and it was really cool. But what's interesting about prodigy, a lot of them now, well, guess what? iPhone and smartphones came after it, not flame out. But people forget that an original iPhone didn't have a lot of things to take for granted, like the App Store. You know, the only things on that first iPhone were baked into my app. The App Store came a year later, and Android to that. Everybody, there's an app for that commercial, and it wasn't an app back then. What was really cool about it was things we take for granted and kind of and, wow, the photo got bigger. You know, this is stuff that 15 years ago was like, it was like parlor trick.
Yeah.
And now, of course, it's in everything. So I saw the potential. I can't say that I think it would change the world like it kind of did. But certainly I saw the potential in calling it a prodigy.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. What kind of technology has changed the world?
Oh, God. Well, let's consider a moment smartphone. Again, back, and I don't know if your viewers remember radio. Do you remember radio? And they would add and show you a camcorder, sell you a camcorder and a calculator, and all these things. Now it's all baked into the phone. And what's remarkable about the phone, in fact, I've been calling it a phone seat, like we're shortchanging what we do. It's your wallet increasingly. It's become your guidebook when you're traveling. If you travel overseas or even elsewhere, where you can different language, you can translate. You can show down a road sign in foreign language, translate. It's taken over for tape measure. There's so many things. GPS. The idea that we can drive around and don't have to go to the gas station and ask for a drink. All of this stuff, again, a lot of us take for granted. Again, I don't know, the people who are maybe sticking to old flip phones and such, but anybody who's a smartphone probably can mold that in that way. Yeah, here's a different gadget. Now it's all baked into your phone.
Let's talk about the flip phone for a minute, because I always say to my students, listen, if it's working for you, there's no need to change it, because the base reason to have that phone is to make a phone call when you need it. And I have found that not all flip phones are created equal at all. And I know this because I end up programming a lot of them and helping people enter phone numbers and navigate through settings. And I will say that the Lively Flip that's made by Great Call, I really believe that flip phone is superior to so many of them, with its extra large buttons. It has easy navigation. You can speak to it with Alexa. So what are your thoughts about the flip phone?
Well, I think you hit it on the head. For people who really do all they want to do, for the most part, is make a phone call, or even have it just for an emergency. Hey, does it well? Nothing wrong with it. Now, I admit I'm a nerd, so I look for all the features that you wouldn't have in a flip phone, but I recognize not only, because it's more functions to call, but just a budget. Some of the people are fixed incomes and such. You don't want to spend, a ransom for some of these smartphones. Nothing wrong with it. And you're right. There are some that are better than others. I'll be honest, I have not reviewed any recently. Possibly I should. But certainly it's useful for continuous people. I should put it that way for number of people, and there's nothing wrong with it. If that's your phone and you're making calls, you don't care about all the other things, fine, no problem.
Yeah, I think that, like I said earlier, not all flip phones and not all smartphones are created equal. And so I really feel like if you skimp in one area, in the long run, you will end up paying for it one way or another. That's what I've experienced. Someone might purchase a much lower end smartphone for their grandparents or something, thinking that, they're barely going to use it. But what happens is you end up putting tech support into that device because it's not really made intuitively and that well to be used by an older adult. Have you found that?
Yes, and I think that companies are starting to get it. First of all, just from a sheer market power point of view, there's a lot of people in this older age range, and and a lot of them do have money and disposable income. So I think companies are starting to pay attention to this market. Maybe not as much as they should. I know AAR is certainly obviously spends a lot of time there. They have an innovation lab that runs these startup competitions, kind of like Baig, looking for companies that are producing products aimed at that older audience. So I do think that we're starting to see a shift. We're not as far along to go.
And earlier, I mentioned how much your articles and the information that you write about inspires me. Where do you get your own inspiration to write so frequently?
Well, I've always approached it as a consumer. I'm a consumer. I'm a bit of a nerd. So if I'm a product, I presume there's at least other people who might be. I read, I talk to people, I go to prior to COVID, I go to conferences, because I've been doing it for a while, I know a lot of people in tech companies, and you do talk to them and get some inkling of what's coming. They don't tell you. Some of the companies like Apple tend to be very secretive. But I get inspiration from stuff that I think is cool. Not every business is cool, but I think it's cool or useful or, will provide a genuine service for people. I've been writing a little bit about accessibility. Of course, hits everybody, but certainly hits senior market. And, I look for stuff that's useful, fun, entertaining, as a consumer or as a person who knows people, who are suffering from some anxiety, what have you.
Yeah, and so tell me, what kind of things really frustrate you when it comes to discovering? What did you say?
When stuff doesn't work.
Yes, when stuff doesn't work. What frustrates you when it comes to writing, reviewing, researching new technology? What hits that on the head for you?
Well, I used to joke that I wish I had a nickel for every time a company would say to me, I would get a product in review and I'd play around with it and it just wouldn't work, some feature wouldn't work. I'd go to the company and say, hey, what gives? And they'd say, that's never happened. We're kind of surprised. And I wish I had a nickel for every time that I got something like that. So that would be number one. That would be number one. I think companies tend to overpromise. I think certainly there's a lot of hype out there for things. The thing you're hearing a lot about these days, a buzzword some of your audience may be familiar with about is something called the metaverse. Facebook last year changed its name from Facebook as a company to Meta, which partly reflects the fact that they own Oculus, VR headset company. And there's this metaverse, which is hard to define and probably even hard to figure out how it will be useful. It's some element of virtual reality and augmented reality. And so there's a lot of hype. Not to say it won't ultimately be useful and provide genuine utility for people of all age. But certainly there's a hype that, when you get at it for a while, you try to cut through that a little bit. But mainly it's when stuff doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yes,
I get that quite often. In fact, I think one area that I'm really waiting for technology to catch up to the printer technology. I think, and I get so many questions about printers in my classes and from clients. And I just think that the printer technology is far behind where it should be right now.
I seem like I have to replace mine every couple of years. And I've got one behind me. It's worked last time I used it. You know, it's because the printer, setting up Wi-Fi on the printer became this really difficult thing, well beyond the fact that Wi-Fi tended to do. So, yeah, it's now the good news is we don't print as much as we used to, right? At least a lot of them. Even though I have paper on my desk, which hopefully you can't see because it's a little bit busy. The other thing that, by the way, I'll mention about printers, which is a little bit off what you're talking about, but is that I'm now subscribing to my printer. So when my ink is low, HP in this case will actually send me a cartridge, but I am charged by how much I actually print. So there's a plan or forever, I don't even remember what I'm paying, but if I go over 100 pages a month, you know, I might pay more, you know, if you're heavy duty. So that's interesting, that everything's becoming a subscription.
Mm-hmm.
Or not everything, but a lot.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that technology. I actually have clients who have told me that they'll just buy a new printer instead of getting new printer cartridges because the new printer comes with half-filled cartridges, which is crazy. But yeah, but I've had people tell me that before. And anyways, the other thing I wanted to ask you about is robotics.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see robotics in senior living or with seniors in particular benefiting older adults?
Well, this is a very interesting area. There's a lot of work and research being done in that area. I used to do a story on it. There's a couple of ways to look at it. One is the idea of a robotic pet or companion. You know, is a robot going to replace a living, breathing pet? Well, I would say no. But what if you're allergic to an animal, or you can't afford it, or you're not able to care for them? Well, maybe some robotic pets someday might. It's not a substitute, but that might. So there's the loneliness factor. In fact, I talked to Colin Engel, who's the CEO of Robot. They're the ones who did the Roomba, robotic vacuum cleaner that's now been around for 20 years. 20 years, it's hard to believe too. And he was saying that's the opportunity somewhere down to come up with a robotic pet that would really be useful. So we'll see what happens there. Then there's actual utility. I mean, we are seeing robots that just do basic functions in the house, like vacuuming or what have you. And of course, there's a lot of contributors these days to Roomba. There's healthcare, helping people just lift things. There's a company that I called Labrador that has a coffee table-like robot. It doesn't look like doesn't look anything like a humanoid robot you might see in science fiction. But it literally is like a tabletop, and like an accordion, it rises and drops, and it could take your medicine from one room to another, or literally go to the fridge through a tray, pull out stuff from the fridge, and bring it to somebody who has some mobility. So we're seeing that kind of thing. And Amazon recently unveiled a household robot called Astro that is supposedly a home robot. At this point, they're only selling it by invitation. And it's I think around $1,000 right now, up to $1,500. And the idea is that Amazon, obviously, knows Amazon is bringing this closer to the beach, although it's hard to mean that price. So I think there's a lot of potential with robots. We're a long way from the jet. And the challenges are cost, everybody has a house, how easy it can be used. There's a lot of challenges there, but also tremendous amount of potential.
I'm waiting for a robot that can unplug something from the wall and plug that back in. That's a feature I'm looking for. I know a lot of my clients really struggle with just basic unplugging from a wall and plugging back in down below in an enclosed space, you
Yeah.
know.
I'm
But
waiting for wireless power where you just walk into a room and it charges everything. We're
yeah,
a bit off for that. Actually, in faucet, there are some situations where that kind of works, but we're a long way off from like it solving the problem that you have.
yeah. There are been many advances in, say, digital assistants. You know,
Yes.
whether it's on your iPhone, I'm not going to say her name. You know who I'm talking about,
Yep.
and then there's the Amazon one. And I'd like to know from you, which features do you think are particularly helpful for an older consumer?
Well, I'll tell you that a couple of things. You can ask, I'm also going to say the name out loud. I've got all the, they'll start talking to each other. Certainly, basics. I wake up to an alarm by Alexa. I set an alarm. Basics. What do I do? Ask the weather. We all do, right? Basics. Maybe I'll put music on, right there. Play something to get me going during the day. Basic stuff. And I think sometimes we think about going beyond that stuff. Yes, I can use an old alarm. Yes, I can put on the radio and get the weather. But just your voice, the remote control is it's always with you, right?
Yep.
So you have that again, advantage people of any. Certainly, you could ask a smart or two set reminder. Take your minute. Which some older, maybe those reminders. Security. If you have a speaker with a screen, it might be attached to your doorbell. Again, we're getting a smartphone, smart home world. Doorbell, it'll show up on your speaker if you're not by the door. So there's a lot of things that smart speakers can do. I am curious to see how far we go in the conversational aspect. We start getting chummy with Alexa or Siri or Google Assistant. You can ask them and tell you might start to engage, just have a conversation. That on some of the loneliness that I hit with robots. It's not a substitute, but
Yeah.
it helps some circumstances. So I'm very curious where it all goes. The conversational aspect, and even being able to detect mood. Will we get to the point where Alexa, oh, the person's upset, so we'll talk to you differently than if you're in a good mood. So I think there's a lot of, where am I trying to say? A lot of innovation going into the conversation and mood.
Yes, I find it fascinating in regards to accessibility. And it's one thing that it's a point that I've been trying to hit home with my students in their 80s and 90s and 100s. The point is, start using it now so that you begin to develop a rapport for using a digital assistant, because as time goes on, we lose dexterity in our fingers, our eyesight diminishes, and then trying to learn to use it then is really challenging. Or if you're unable to articulate because of Parkinson's, had you begin to speak into the digital assistant and create a memory and a vocabulary years prior, it would begin to adapt to changes in your vocal tone. So I am always
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Are you still resistant to using the people you talk to?
I see that people are hesitant because they don't know it, they don't trust it, they don't know how it can benefit them. But like you said, I always say just start simple. start small, start with the alarm, start with the music, start with the sports scores, just the weather, right? Things
Yep.
that are just small and simple in order for you to begin to develop uh, a relationship and a vocabulary with your digital assistant, because it will serve you so much in the long run.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, dealing with other people, they take this for granted. Ask the Google, and
Right.
it is remarkable that it's just another operator in your home in so many ways. But I agree. I think starting simple and getting comfortable. You know what? Nothing wrong with it. It's a good alarm. You could even snooze.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. I find it particularly helpful in the car. Not so
yeah.
much when I'm with my kids, because they'll start talking to it and screaming at it, and then it's just another voice in the house. But I do think it's really charming when people are exceptionally polite with their digital assistant, and they'll ask please and thank you, just because that's how they normally talk. So
Yes. I remember Amazon. They were pushing being polite to kids with some of their products, specifically in order if you say thank you or please or get that little feedback. So
yeah. So tell me, if you weren't writing about tech, what would you be focusing on?
you're talking about as a journalist or just general?
Yeah, your interests.
Oh, gee. Well, I love sports. I'm a big sports fan. I'm a local New York environmental teams. Some of whom are good this year, and many of whom are not, especially in football. So I'll mention that. I do love musical type. I have very eclectic music, and that of course ties into tech, but is also script. So I'm certainly into that. I like listening on a good wireless headphone, at least when I'm at the gym. What else? I like to, being a numbers junkie, I follow the goings on of news and politics. I'm not going to get into any of that. But I'm into it.
Yeah.
And what else? So, and of course, being with my family and that. I have two teenagers. They keep me going.
Are you the defaulto tech person in your household like I am?
Yes.
Yeah.
Although I will say I can learn from my kid.
Yes.
And you learn a lot. So
Me too. Me too. Yeah, there are times where I just say, "How do you do this? I don't know how to do this, or why am I not getting this right?" And then, they grab the device away and they're like, "This, there you go." So
exactly.
yeah, and and I think that also has something to do with the ageism. I believe we talked briefly on that earlier, which is just feeling like you're too old to learn something new, and how we get these messages both from the media and from our family and from ourselves from an early stage, where we just think, I'm too old to learn this, or I shouldn't learn something new. I should just stick with what I already know, for instance, when it comes to an operating system. So I think that's a really interesting topic, and one that we're going to be hearing more and more about in the upcoming years.
You are never too old to learn. I'm convinced of that.
Yeah.
And you learn a lot through technology. It really does help. I talked earlier about the things we take for granted, and kind of joke, ask the Google. You can learn about Google.
You can, absolutely. Well, Ed, I want to thank you for coming on to Tech Tuesday today. It's been an honor to have you here, and I just will continue to be reading and following what you're covering. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
My pleasure. Well, as we wrap up today, I want to wish you all a wonderful week, and I'll see you back here next week.